welcome back to another video. So today I am going to be showing you how to apply glitter, loose glitter, in 5 different ways, because obviously there is multiple different ways to do it, and I just thought it'd be good for you to see that there is different ways. I also wanted to include like different ways with fine and chunky glitters, because I know a lot of people do struggle with chunkies, because obviously if you're just doing gel polish you don't want them to be really rough, or maybe you do, like you want that type of effect, or you don't want them to be really thick and stuff like that. So I just thought if we included fine and chunky, that'd be best. So here I've got 2 Tears Beauty glitters. They are absolutely gorgeous. They're like a, I don't really know how to explain them. I don't know why I try and say colours, because everyone's perception is different, but they're called Calypso. So this is Calypso Fine and this is the Calypso Mix. That's the great thing about Tears, is they do like different cuts of the same colour, so that's really, really handy. So I'm going to be using these 2, and let's get started. Okay, so for all of these nails I'm going to be using Patter Cake as my base. It's not really a great match, I'm not going to lie to you, for the colour, but obviously I'm going to be covering it up anyway with the glitter. So I just want to show you, basically I wanted a colour underneath that was going to make the glitter stand out so you could really see the glitter, because if I found one that was really, really similar to it, it wouldn't stand out very well, and I'm not sure how well the video would pick it up. So I'm just going to go with this. Doesn't matter anyway, obviously when you do it just make sure that your colours go together. So I'm just starting off by popping a coat. So this is the first way of doing it. I'd say this is probably the easiest, but this is actually the way that I use the least out of all 5, just because my clients don't like the texture to this way, but yours might, so we're going to cover it anyway. So I'm just going to grab a triangle to put underneath, and I'm going to get my pot of glitter, and I'm basically just going to tip it over the top of this nail. This one's super, super easy. There is no real technique. Just throw it over. You can cover it as much as you want, like put all of it over it if you really want. You've got your triangle underneath, it will catch any excess. Just make sure you get down the sides as well, because they're easily missed when the nail is curved, and then just tap off your excess. And that's that. So we're going to pop that on here again. So all I'm going to do is just go down the side and just pat in to make sure we haven't got any really, really sharp bits around the edge. Okay, and then once I've done that, I'm going to pop that in the lamp, and I'm going to do a full cure on that for 60 seconds. Okay, so the whole point of using a triangle is you can now catch the rest of that glitter in your glitter pot, so you're not wasting it all. So just tip it up, give it a few taps. You can use a brush to get any excess and brush that in as well. I just keep tapping and tapping and tapping till there's hardly any left. So obviously I have made quite a mess with this, but if you're careful you won't. I'm just not careful, so I'm just going to brush that away. There we go. And then the last step, so once your glitter has come out of the lamp, it should all be cured and stuck to that layer of colour. You just want to dust off any excess. So I use the Magpie duster brush just because it's got quite thick bristles and works really well, and you literally just swipe over it. I'm not going to do it here because it'll be all over my desk, so I'm just going to do it over the bin and then I'll come back. Okay, so that is that one done. It's super, super easy. Literally just straight onto the wet coat and then pop it in and cure. It's that easy. But obviously this will have a rough touch to it because it's not top coated or anything. So it just depends whether your clients like the textured feel. But that's the first one. Let's get into the next one. Okay, so next up we're going to paint on Patter Cake again, but this time instead of leaving it wet, we are going to cure it for the full 60 seconds. Obviously I'm using Magpie's gel colours with Magpie's lamp, so their curing time is 60 seconds. I'm not saying that like you need to just want to clear up, but I'm not saying when I say cure for the full time of 60 seconds that that's what you need to do, because it depends on your system and everything. So obviously just do whatever a full cure would be for the system that you are using. So I'm going to pop this into the lamp for 60 seconds and I'll be back. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm now going to go in with my application brush from Magpie. It's called the Applicator. So I'm using this to apply my glitter this time. You can also use, which I do use a lot, is a brush from Tears Beauty. I'm just thinking to save you some pennies, because obviously I get a 10% off for you there. Tia's Beauty do a tubby glitter brush. It's pretty similar to the Magpie one, it's just a different ending it up there, but I use this for dusts, which is why I'm not using it for this, because I use this one for glitter and this one for dust, just because to keep the two separate. So you can definitely use one of those as well. So I'm just going to get my fine glitter again, and this time we're going to be burnishing this into the tacky layer of this colour. So we're just going to dip into the glitter, make sure we're actually focused for a start. I don't know what is wrong with my phone lately, but it wants to focus on everything but what I want it to. Anyway, so we're going to go into the glitter and we're going to pick up quite a lot. You want to make sure you've got quite a lot on your brush. And then we're basically just making sure that there is glitter everywhere. You don't want to go too crazy with this and keep going over the same place and stuff, because you've got to imagine that obviously that tacky layer is still there. If you get too much of that tacky on your brush, you will end up not being able to stick anything to it, because the glitter will just stick to your brush. So once you've made sure that there is glitter all over that, you can then start to burnish it and just go in small circular motions, making sure that you're being gentle, and then that will burnish in that glitter, which basically means that it will all sit flat to the nail, which will obviously make top coating really, really easy for you, because you won't have any bits sticking up. This method does work best for loose, fine glitters, not really so much chunky, because obviously it's a bit difficult for you to fill gaps with a chunky, because there'll be larger pieces. I'm making such a mess today. So once you've done that, you just want to brush off any excess. Be gentle, because obviously it's not glued on or cured on like the last one is. It is literally just resting on that tacky layer, so you don't want to go too crazy with this stage. But you also don't want to really ruin your top coats and stuff. So we're just going to get off any excess that we can. And then once we've done that, we can then go in with the top coat. So I'm just going to have a little clean up and then we'll top coat. Okay, so to top coat, I'm using Magpie's Don't Be Tacky. You want to make sure with top coating glitters that you've got a separate top coat for glitters only, or you're going to be really careful with basically cleaning your brush after you've done it. So I always like to make sure that there's quite a lot on my brush when doing glitters, because then that makes it less likely that the glitter will get stuck in your brush. So instead of like really scraping it and painting it that way, I'm going over really gently. And another reason for that is obviously you don't want to scrape too hard on this glitter now at this point, because you can still move it, because it is still only attached to the tacky layer and not actually cured where it is. So you want to be really, really gentle with applying your top coat. Make sure that you cover absolutely everywhere and cap really carefully. And then once you've done that, you can pop it into the lamp, and that's that technique finished. So all the techniques give different effects, which is why it's really good to see 5 different effects, especially with the same glitter, because if I'd have showed you doing the different methods with the different glitters, you wouldn't have really been able to see the difference as much, because you wouldn't have known what they looked like otherwise. So that's the second method. Okay, so the third one, again, we are going to go in with patter cake, but this time I'm going to do 2 coats. I'm going to do the first coat and cure that, and then I'm going to do another coat but leave that wet. This is one that you would really want to do with a colour that will match and stuff, but obviously because I'm not doing this as an actual like set of nails, it doesn't really matter, but because you're going to be able to see the colour with this one. So make sure you've got your whole colour scheme going on there. So I'm going to pop that into the lamp for 60 seconds. Okay, so it's come back out the lamp now after the first coat has cured, and I'm just going to pop the second coat on. Obviously, like I said, we're going to leave this one wet. And that is because we're sort of doing the same as the first, what's it called? The first, oh my god, the word escapes me, method. We're sort of doing the same as the third method this time, but ever so slightly different for different effect. So you're going to need a fan brush for this. Now I don't know about you, but I've always had fan brushes in my collection, but I never ever use them. Like, they're a complete waste of time to me. But I just wanted to show you a couple of ways that you can actually use them and get some use out of them. So I've got my fine glitter again. I'm just going to pop this in here and then dust off any excess. I'm going to hold it above the nail and just gently touch it like this and just flick over the top. You really don't want a lot on the fan brush to do this, else you'll end up with just big chunky patches on the nail of glitter and it just won't blend very well. So you want to just make sure you've only got a tiny bit on there and just build it up instead of going all out and crazy at the beginning. I'm just going to put a little bit more at the top. Obviously this is a very messy method, but it's quite a nice effect actually to have it just a little bit subtle. So there's that, and then you could put maybe a matte top coat over that and a bit of detail or some stamping. I might do that actually and then show you at the end just for you to see the difference. So anyway, that's that one done. Really, really quick and easy. You can either, and then obviously with this one, you would, when you've cured this, you would definitely top coat. You wouldn't be able to just leave that like the first one, because obviously the gel itself will be tacky, and you need to top coat that. So you need to put either obviously your matte top coat or, you know, your normal top coat. Okay, so the first 3 were done with the fine one. I'm now going to do 2 with chunky glitter for you to see how to do that. So first of all, we're going to do basically the same as the first method with the fine, but we're going to do it chunky version. So basically you're just going to pop your coat of colour on. Obviously if you've got a colour that's not great, I would recommend using a colour that is similar to the colour if you're doing the sprinkle version, just because what was I saying? I've lost my trail of thought now. I've gone totally blank. Yeah, just because if a little bit of glitter does come off, like while your client is wearing their nails over the next few weeks and stuff like that, it doesn't really matter because the colour underneath will hide the fact that there's some missing if it's similar. So that's why I'd do that. But obviously it doesn't really matter in my case because no one's going to be wearing them. So anyway, got my chunky glitter ready. I keep knocking things. I'm really sorry about all the bangs and noises in the background. And then I'm going to take it off the stand. So I'm just going to do what I did originally with the first, I think it was the first one. So I'm just popping this glitter over the top of that colour and getting it everywhere in the process. Obviously don't be like me, use your triangle to your advantage and actually try and get the glitter in it. And then just tap off any excess and then make sure you've covered everywhere. And then we're going to pop that into the lamp to cure. I'm just going to do what I did originally again and just make sure that that is all not sticking out of the sides a great deal. Doesn't matter if it is a little bit, because obviously you can just finish file at the end just to refine a little bit, but getting rid of all the huge pieces. Okay, so that's what it looks like so far. It's really bumpy and everything, but don't worry, we'll sort that out. I'm now going to pop that into the lamp. Okay, so when it comes out the lamp, you want to do what you originally did with the first one and brush off all the excess. I'm just going to do that off camera just because it does make a mess and I don't want it to go over my desk. So once you've done that and you've got all the excess off that will come off, you then want to go over with some sort of thicker gel. So I'm going to be using Magpie's Give Me Strength, but you can use a bottled builder gel, or a potted builder gel or anything like that. Builder, hard gel, whatever you like, completely up to you. Really sorry about that noise. There is apparently a helicopter landing on my roof. Anyway, so I'm going to be using, like, I forgot my trail of thought again. If it was and there was some really awful, like really high bits and low bits and stuff, you can either apply a little bit more to this layer if you're confident with building with the with whatever it is that you're using, or you can just cure this one and then put another coat on after. So I'm going to pop this in the lamp for 60 seconds. I'm going to cure that fully and then I'll come back and tell you the next step. Okay, so now that's come out the lamp, I am going to wipe off the tacky layer with Prep and Dehydrate. So obviously you just use whatever you usually use to remove your tacky layer. This isn't the last step though, so make sure you don't use a cleanser of any sort with any oils in, because obviously we're still going to be applying more gel over this. So now, when I've done that, you can either go in with a buffer or a file. I'm going to use a file. It's a 240 grit, really worn Magpie file, so I know that I'm not going to take off too much with this because it is very worn. And you're basically just going to go over and make sure that it's all completely smooth. Obviously you don't want to take off your glitter, and you're literally just going over to buff gently and make sure that it's all nice and flat. Don't worry if you do lose bits of glitter, it's not a problem. There should be enough on there to make it all sit well. So basically we applied that layer of gel to file it off, sort of. You'll be able to get everything really nice and smooth. Okay, so you might need to do this a bit more than me or a bit less, like it just depends on how well the application went. Okay, so then once you've done that, we're just going to dust off the excess and top coat. Okay, so I'm just going to pop a coat of No White top coat. I'm using the Blue Skies No White top coat at the moment because I completely keep forgetting that I've got a bottle of it in my drawer, and I keep telling myself that I'm going to use it for my nail art because I love Blue Skies No White top coat. It's so shiny. I love it. So I've just top coated that, and then everything is nice and smooth, as you can see. So that is a perfect way of using chunky glitters with gel because you get the chunky effect and it's still nice and smooth. So I'm going to pop that in the lamp, and that's it for this one. Then we're on to the very last one now. Okay, so for the very last one, you're going to need a gel like we've just used. So I am going to use Give Me Strength again. And basically, so you're going to want something to put your polish on. All you're going to need is something to put your polish on and obviously your chunky glitter. So I'm just going to pop, there's not really much left in this, so I'm going to have to fight with it for a little bit. Okay, so I've got my little blob of gel here, and then we're going to go in with my glitter, and I'm going to pop some inside of that gel, and then I'm going to give it a quick stir. This method is absolutely perfect for doing glitter fades. If you're not, yeah, well, I don't know what I was going to say then actually, my mind went a bit blank again, don't know what is wrong with me today, but yeah, so it's perfect for doing glitter fades because you can have more control over where it goes and stuff, and you can easily just pick up little bits like on their own and apply them exactly where you want them. It's really, really useful for that. I do this method a lot for chunky glitter fades. So I have put a little bit too much glitter in compared to how much gel I've got. You will know whether you've done that, just because it'll be, well, it'll just be too thick for you to use basically. So that's how you'll know the ratio. Over time it'll just sort of like come to you and you'll just know what to do. So I'm just going to make sure that's nice and mixed. So I've already done my colour base on my nail. So I've put a pat of cake down and I've done 2 coats of it and cured both this time. So next stage is to put this on. Okay, so obviously it's up to you what type of brush you use. I'm using this one, it's just from Amazon in a set. So I'm just going to pick it up and just place it on. Okay, so I'm just going to place a bit more on. There we go. So you can obviously, the good thing about this is you can decide how much you want to cover. Like if you want to cover a little bit, you just put a little bit on, swipe it over. If you want to cover all of it, then you cover all of it. It's really nice to have the choice of what you want to do and have complete control over where the glitter goes. So just keep messing about until you're happy with it basically. Just keep poking and prodding. Okay, so I'm just going with top coat over this one. Because you have more control over where the glitter goes, you're able to lay it flat with your brush, so you don't need to worry about getting this one smooth and everything, because it will be anyway by the time you've finished getting it where you want it and stuff like that. So that's that one. I'm really, really sorry if you've been hearing coughing all the way through this video, by the way. My mum and dad are positive at the moment, so we're a really lucky household. I'm lucky to have been hidden away in this room where no one else was allowed to go. So anyway, I'm going to pop that into the lamp now for 60 seconds, and then that's the last one done. I am going to just go and I'm going to show you obviously all the different ways for all the different final looks first anyway when the other one's finished, and then I'm going to go away, try and sort of make them into a set of 5, and then I'll come back and show you what I did with them. So here's the different techniques and how they look when they are finished. Obviously this one is the one that we sprinkled over the wet layer. I'm really sorry if you can hear all the noise in the background. Everyone just wants to be loud when I'm doing a video. I don't know why. Anyway, this is one we sprinkled onto the wet layer, then cured. This is the one that we burnished into the tacky layer and then put a top coat over. This is the one that we sprinkled on top. I have matte top coated it, just haven't removed the tacky layer yet. This is the one that we applied and then Give Me Strength over the top and then filed and then top coated. And then this is obviously the one that we applied that was during, like within the Give Me Strength. So you can tell there that they all have different effects by the different ways that you apply them. Now I'm going to go and try and make them into a set. Okay, so this is what I ended up with. I added a matte top coat to this nail and then obviously I've added some detail work to 3 of them as well. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll be back really soon. Bye!